Hi, so I'm going to quickly show VoxInput's new assistant mode, which uses the LocalAI real-time API. So I'm going to start that up. And this is using local models only. Hello, Vox.
Hello, Richard.
What kind of things can you do?
I can type, click, and move the mouse. I can also open applications and control the desktop layout.
Open Firefox then. Okay, the address bar is selected, so type in Leadbox's web address. And press the Enter key. Highlight links. D. Press the D key. Highlight links again. Press the B key. No, okay. I'm going to stop it just there and clear the context just to give it a bit more chance. Okay. Highlight links, please. D key. Highlight links again. B. Press the B key. Highlight links again. Highlight links. Okay. We're in Firefox. Scroll down. Highlight links. AR. Highlight links. Press the keys A and R. Okay, I'm just going to stop it again. Right, so what's this doing? Basically, we have the following AI models running on my local AI instance, which you can see here. Hold on a minute. Switch to tabbed mode. Okay. So we have, because this is not, what you're seeing now is not a what's called an any to any model. This is just 4 models chained together. So first of all, we have our voice activity detection model, which just detects whether someone's speaking. And that's provided by Whisper C++. And then we have our transcription model, Whisper Large Turbo, which has incredible difficulties with my accent, and there are better models available now, but this is what I'm going with for this demo. So I blame most of the failures to do the right command on its inability to hear what I'm saying. And then we take what's being transcribed and we put it into Qwen 3 4B. So this is not a big model, right? This is a 4 billion parameter model, and it's also using 4-bit quantization. And then when we need to generate some audio, we send it to Kokoro, and that's only an 82 million parameter model. So let's go and look at how much resources this is using. Switch to desktop free. Okay, so we can see how much RAM I'm using and what graphics card I have. So I have a GeForce RTX 5070, which is pretty decent. But I only have 16 gigabytes of RAM, which I say only, but you know, this is AI we're talking about. And you can see here that I'm using 7 gigabytes for Llama C++. That's running Qwen 3. And actually, it's using this much RAM because I have quite a large context. I have 32,000 token context. So you can tune this down a bit. So you don't have to spend 7 gigabytes on this. You can get that down a bit. And then we have Whisper that's using 2 gigabytes. I'm hoping to find like a much more efficient model than this. But yeah, that's using 2 gigabytes for Whisper's biggest model. Because otherwise, like Whisper cannot understand what I'm saying. It thinks I'm speaking in Welsh or some other language, like some really obscure language. So yeah, British accent seems to be a big issue for that particular model, especially mine. And then you have Kokoro, which only is taking up a gigabyte, and we can probably get that down a bit as well by using a quantized version. And then this thing at the bottom is just the X window manager. So yeah, you can see that this is running locally, and also the latency is pretty good. Again, just because it's a small model, we haven't actually implemented or haven't implemented streaming yet. So we can get this to be we can get the latency a lot lower than what it currently is. Or you can go the other way and use a much bigger model and get much better quality from the assistant. Okay, so go to window 2. Move to the right window. Press Control C. Yeah, just killed itself. Okay, so let's go and look at my settings. Actually, in VoxInput. VoxInput's what runs on my current desktop to send commands to LocalAI. So it's a reasonably basic program, and I'll just get into a little bit of what that does in a minute. But this is the configuration file for VoxInput. Most of these options are passed through to the OpenAI real-time API, which is what VoxInput relies on to implement all of its features. And you can, I mean, obviously you can swap out, instead of pointing it to a local instance, you can also use OpenAI's GPT real-time and possibly other providers as well, maybe Grok, I don't know. But anyway, I haven't even tested it with that yet. So yeah, we're OpenAI compatible. And we set things like the prompt. Now the prompt here is actually the transcription prompt, and this just helps Whisper Large understand some of these terms, so it can correctly transcribe things like VoxInput and LocalAI, which otherwise it'll just type out as like one or type it out as two or three words if it gets the right thing at all. So it's just helping with transcription, the prompt is. Mode assistant rather than just transcript only. VoxInput was originally just made with doing straightforward transcription to any window on your Linux desktop. And now we have the assistant mode, which does this tool calling that we've just seen and lets you control your desktop using voice commands. And you can still do transcription. Yeah, and the things like the voice, this is going through to Kokoro, and it's telling it like what sort of voice we should be using, and there's a whole bunch of other options we can have here as well. Now the assistant instructions. Let's go and have a look at these. So these are the instructions. This is what typically you'd call the system prompt. And this is telling it like how to use the tools that we have. There's actually only one tool that we have in VoxInput, and that's just the do tool, which allows you to make key presses on the desktop. So everything here is just using keyboard shortcuts that you've just seen to enter things on the desktop. And we can use this to like describe in natural language what features our voice assistant should have. And I've been experimenting with this, but I think there's a lot more we can try to do with this. With a 4 billion parameter model, you are kind of limited. So it takes a bit more effort to make this work than if, say, you just throw like a 30 billion parameter model at it, or do what a lot of people do, which is just throw Claude at it. So we have to put a bit more effort in than that to make this work. And you can see in here that, first of all, we've told it how it can transcribe some text or write some text on our virtual keyboard. And we've given like the explicit function call syntax, which you can get from looking at Quen's model definition. But we've given like the exact thing that it needs to enter just to give it an easier time. And then later on I switched to this more compact way of telling it how to enter do tool commands. So yeah, so basically this just tells it like some of the shortcut keys I have and whatever. With a bigger model, you'd be able to get away with just saying, yeah, when in Firefox, just use the Firefox shortcut keys, and it would probably, it probably has all of those memorized in larger models. But here I didn't have much success with that. But we can tell it things like, in Firefox, as you may have noticed earlier, if you're a surfing keys user, I have the surf keys extension installed, which means I can highlight links, and I've told it that we can do that. And when it actually, when the transcription model actually understands that I'm saying highlight links, then we can do that. Okay, and for now, I think that's it. Goodbye.